Hello, I'm Todd Hall, President and CEO of TruLiant. As we mark our 70th anniversary in 2022, we reflect on a rich history that would not be possible without the support of the great city of Winston-Salem. From our humble beginnings in 1952 to the present, where we will soon serve over 300,000 members, hire our 1,000th employee, and exceed $4 billion in assets, to a future poised for continued growth. I am proud of the work we are doing together. TruLiant is grateful for and remains committed to Winston-Salem and all of Forsyth County.
Welcome to the Greater Conversations podcast. I'm Deetra Miller, the Director of Member Relations and Engagement at Greater Winston-Salem, Inc. We'll use this platform to showcase our local businesses, our community, and their stories. Welcome back to the show. I am super excited because of the energy that is in the room right now with our next guest. It is Brian DePaulis. Brian is the owner and founder of Elevated Catering Company. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Of course, of course. Your last name, that's really interesting, DePaulis.
It's not very Winston-Salem-like, is it?
No, well, it's from a far, far land of Italy.
Yeah.
Ooh, love it.
We're Sicilian, so, we like our name.
You like your name? So is it really pronounced DePaulis?
No, so I guess if it was in Italy, it would be DePaulis.
DePaulis.
Yeah, with the accent over the
beautiful.
I. But now we're in America, so we're just DePaulis.
And you're in the South.
Y'all.
That is correct.
That's
So it's like
DePaulis, y'all.
DePaulis, y'all. Love it. Love
That's right.
it. Now,
And bless your heart.
and bless your heart. I bet every time someone eats your food, they're like, ooh, bless your heart.
I hope so.
In a good way.
I hope so.
In a good way.
Laws, yes.
Well, it's cool learning that your background is Italian.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you fell in love with food?
Absolutely. My mom cooked a meal. It was guaranteed 6 days a week. If we did go out to eat, it was on a Sunday, and it was special. And so I think that going out to eat was special because it was that one day or every so often. And then, just having those meals at home with my mom, it was just family. It was love. I mean, I even got tattooed word love on my arm because, I'm still trying to figure out what that means and how deep that really is. And for me, it's a very deeply family-rooted love with food because of that.
Wow. So you grew up cooking with your parents?
Sort of. My mom I would more tinker or eat in the kitchen. So my mom would kind of be upset with me sometimes because I'm more eating than actually helping.
Okay.
But I always wanted to be involved in the kitchen. So it was probably not by mistake that I ended up being a chef. Which is really the only thing I've ever done other than being a lifeguard and a little time on a construction venue for a little while, and that's it. So,
and I bet you were feeding the crew, right?
Yes. Yes. That always usually ends up coming into play. I end up feeding somebody.
That's awesome.
So
you knew from a young age exactly what you wanted to do. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I always kind of knew that this is what I wanted to do. The road gets long and it gets hard sometimes, and especially with COVID, you kind of question yourself, like, am I still really doing what I'm supposed to be doing? And but I think falling into kind of just starting this company and everything, it struck a different love and a deeper love, and I'm just really excited about where we're going.
That's awesome. Well, talk a little bit about the journey from falling in love with cooking to actually starting your own business. Now, let's go way back because you started your career in Wilmington, is that right?
Yeah, so I went to school there at Cape Fear Community College, and it was for hotel and restaurant management. I think at 18 years old, we really don't know what we want to do. We just want to have fun. So my goal in my mind was, I'm going to be in Hawaii with this, just amazing hotel, and I'm going to run the whole place, and, and the rest is history, right? That's not how it happened at all. So I ended up working at Ruby Tuesdays, got in the corporate world first, was a busser and a salad bar attendant. Loved it, was a great corporation. I always tell young chefs that I think it's good to get into the corporate world first to learn the business. learn your speed, learn your passion and portioning size and all that kind of stuff, and then move over if you want to get into fine dining later. But that was great for me. Ended up doing that for 3.5 years. Ended up working my way all the way through the kitchen, and then a corporate trainer, and ended up opening quite a few of those, and just kind of went from there.
Very cool. Now, you mentioned mentoring young people and letting them know, hey, start here in corporate, and then if you're interested in fine dining, then you move on. How did you transition from corporate to fine dining?
So I think it kind of started with the corporate part where, as I started becoming a corporate trainer, I started teaching the craft. And that's where I super deeply fell in love with cooking, because even though it was corporate, even though it was like measure this, measure that, it was just teaching that craft and then seeing someone not know anything and then falling in love with it and doing really well because of some of that teaching. And y'all are doing this thing together. And that's where I always tell young guys that, like, teach your craft and, and pass that along. And, all the great chefs that helped me along the way, they said, give everyone what you got and teach it, and they'll be great. Always keep 2 things to yourself. That'll keep your job forever. So,
okay.
So, that's
good
what
to
I've
know.
always tried to do, and, teach it, and then end up starting a company later in life called Hope Eats, which was actually going into young kids, like, it was a sober living homes, and it was teaching them a life skill, and so that was super fun. Yep.
That's great. Wow. And possibly you'll start that up again?
Yeah, later when I get a little less busy and can really focus on that. But yeah, I would like to bring that back later to give back to the community and just help out.
That's
also.
awesome. That's awesome. Now, you mentioned you're super busy with Elevated Catering. You launched this company when?
So November 1st, we were official. I actually got let go of my job prior and was a little bummed about that. But like I've been telling people, when man says no, God says yes.
Yes.
And to me, that's really powerful, because I named it Elevated Catering because not only did I want to elevate the scene here, but I also God elevated my life for me, and just everything about that has been elevated in my life. So I wanted that to definitely be the name, and we're just going from there.
I love that. Yeah. Well, talk about some of the elevated elements on your menu.
So we do some, I think the hors d'oeuvres, which I want to make a staple for us, is our pork belly bite. That's an hors d'oeuvre, and it's, I braise it. It's a sweet heat rub that I put on it, and then I smoke it for like 30 minutes, and then braise it the rest of the way, slow and tender, and then we sear them crispy when we go to serve them, and two to three little bite. And then it's got a chickpea gremolata on top, which I think is super different. It's nutty with no nuts in it. So if you have that allergy, there's no gluten in there, but you get the crunch. So it's all those things, fresh herbs in there, and it just goes well with a glaze that I put on there, and it's an orange hoisin sesame seed glaze.
Is it lunchtime yet?
I know, right?
Oh my gosh.
So that's going to be one of our staples, along with a pokey bite that we do as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what type of events do you usually cater?
So we're really kind of across the board, and it's wild how this thing has kind of been an open slate for us, and a little bit different, I think, of how we're doing business. Obviously we want to be in weddings, and we just actually got named one of the premier caterers at Winmock.
Congratulations!
Really, those are friends of ours. That's like family. I formed a relationship with them back when I was with Providence, and they've just been really good to us. And we actually got married there too, so it's really cool to continuously get to go in there and form that relationship. And then we're starting these supper clubs, which we're doing. We've already done one in May. It's a 5-course tapas style dinner, small, just kind of introduction with wine and a signature cocktail. And just kind of get that thing going.
And that's at Winmock?
That's actually going to be at the Cohab space, where I actually just got named food director over there.
Congratulations.
And we're going to start bringing food to that scene with music, with the art. And we're going to start this supper club called Dine Art.
Cool. And where's the co-space located?
So Cohab Space is in High Point, right off West English Street. And yeah, they got amazing art over there. John Moldock owns that space over there, and he's really just ahead of his time.
Is that near Condon Yards?
It really is. It's like 2 minutes down the road.
Very cool.
Right by the baseball field and all that. Yep.
Sweet. So you're making a reputation all over the Triad, sir.
That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to just
Fantastic.
Some of my mentors told me, they said, you need to put your brand in people's face even when they don't want it, because then eventually they'll know they need it. And I've kind of stuck to that. And my goal for this year is for people to understand what our brand is and correlate our name with good food and good business and just good business. I think that's the biggest thing.
I love that. Your energy is amazing. It's like you're on fire. Speaking of which, one of my favorite pictures of you, I mentioned this, is you with a fire going behind you. It's amazing. It's so much energy. It just makes you want to eat whatever it is you're cooking. I'm curious to know, so catering, why not a restaurant? Why not a food truck?
Well, I think we've got, like I said, I feel like we're in a really unique situation. Somehow we've just fallen in these places. And with Cohab, and then around music, which is a second love of mine. Music and food is like my favorite thing in the world, other than my wife. So, that. And then we're also working on a deal, hopefully, that will go through, and we might be in a hospital here soon.
Really?
As
That's
well,
fantastic.
doing Monday through Fridays in their cafe. And so with the catering, I'm movable and can bring my food anywhere. Where in a restaurant, I have to depend on people to come to that space. This way, now I can go to the space, and now you come to me, and I can be in 3 or 4 different places at a time. So I think that's the unique thing that I see as being a fine dining chef. This allows us to kind of go and be anywhere.
I love that. I love that. For anyone who's listening that's thinking about starting their own business, especially a catering business, what would you suggest that they do? What resources did you find in the area to help you with yours?
I feel like, for me, I feel like you really have to have a passion for this and really have a love for this more than really, if you're thinking about money and that's your number one goal, this probably is not for you. But if your number one thing is really wanting people to enjoy food, really wanting people to enjoy that experience and all that, and that's the forefront of your mind, and that's really strong, I feel like then, dive in and just dive in head first, because that's all I really did. I honestly have no idea what I'm doing, even though it looks like it. But I did have things that were mentored to me that I have stuck to my guns with that have been very successful in the past. And I'm just trying to do those, and then letting God lead and put us in the right positions, and then just, expound on those positions.
I love it. I love it. I have to give a hat tip to our producer, Tim, over here,
That's me.
Oh, yeah.
who raised an amazing son that happens to work with you.
He sure does.
Talk a little bit about that relationship.
So that relationship started when this little kid was 18 years old, and I thought he was like 28 or something like that by the way he acted and how mature he was. And I met him at Providence when I moved back from Raleigh to Winston-Salem to start a life here or back here, and then be back home and all that. And I run into this kid, and I just loved him immediately. His energy, his passion, his excitement. It's like he knew the whole place inside and out. So he was my go-to guy, and we just formed a relationship almost immediately. And he reminded me a lot of my younger self. And I think that's what's been so. I'm trying not to get emotional and cry right now, but I'm probably going to. But so along with Tim, and yeah, man, and he was whether he knew it then or not, but he was my sous chef, he was my dishwasher, he was my prep cook, he was my go-to, my lean on, I mean everything. At that time for when I came into like basically a skeleton crew. And I wouldn't have been able to put together what I did and been able to be successful in that environment without him. So, and he's kind of followed me around everywhere, and I'm glad he's finally starting to reap the rewards of the success of this business being started, because he's put in his time and his investment and following me around to some places I'm probably not as excited about because they weren't the greatest decisions at that time, but it helped us grow together and we've been through it. And I feel like you got to be battle tested before you can be successful. So.
Oh, I love that.
So.
Got to be battle tested before
Absolutely.
you can be successful.
Especially in this industry.
And he's wearing armor. He's already got his armor on.
Really?
Yeah,
Yep.
he's ready to go.
That's
He
awesome.
He is
That's
ready.
awesome. Okay. Well, hopefully he won't step away from you too soon.
I hope not either. I hope I get to keep him forever, but I know that in this business, that's not always the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
And I'm grooming him for whatever he wants to do in life, and hopefully I just add a little bit of value to him, and he's a little bit better person because of it. Mm-hmm. And the more concern for me is that he's a great human being first, because to me that is the investment. Like because. I can be a great chef all day, make great food, but if I'm not a great person, what legacy does that pass on?
Wow.
And I want not only our name to be attached to really good food, but really good business, but also we're good people. We got good values, we got good morals, and we care about our community and we care about what we do as a whole, not just collectively. As just we make money. That's not what this is about. So
I love that. I love that. It's hard to transition away from that. Honestly, that's beautiful. Well, let's talk about your wife a little bit. Mm-hmm. And what was the process like for the two of you as a couple as you were creating this business?
So it's a pretty unique story in itself. We've known each other since third grade, and we were really, really good friends for 20 plus years, and then started a friendship later in life, and then ended up falling in love. And I was going through a difficult relationship. She was going through coming out of a divorce, and we just kind of were there to lean on each other, and ended up falling romantically in love. And that moved me from Raleigh back to Winston, and she's got a successful salon business for like almost 9 years called Lucia Hair Studio.
Cool.
And so she knows all about business, and she's been my backbone as far as that side of it because. Like I said, I know how to cook. I know to do all those things. She knows how to do business, and she does it very well, honestly. And so that kind of just came together, and she was like, "Let's start this." She actually started the LLC for me.
Really? Nice.
And when I got home from getting let go of my job, she goes, "I know that this is bad news, but I got some good news." And literally almost the same day, I got the LLC and everything was signed and we were good to go. And I was starting a company and didn't even know it.
Wow.
And so she's been my greatest fan, my greatest support. Elevated Catering would not be successful without her, 100%. So, and we're this team that's just trying to do it at the best level we can. So.
I love that. I love that. Well, talk a little bit about what you love about Winston-Salem because you're based here, so there must be something.
So I've been able to be blessed. We're in a shared kitchen, 106 Short Street in Kernersville, and that's really just put me around a tremendous team of people that I finally have found, or they found me, however that looks. Where Tyler White, he's over in Stockhouse, he owns Celestial Wellness. And then Lisa McMillan, her and her husband, Scott, run 106 Short Street. And they've really seen the investment in me and our company and really have helped us along the way. And they're just some young entrepreneurs that are excited about what Winston-Salem has to offer. And like I was telling my wife the other day, I'm just so excited that they're not giving up on Winston. They're like, no, we're not going to let this town just not do anything, and we're going to try to bring some stuff here and add some value, and that's all we're trying to do as a company too. So we jumped in that circle head first, and I love their energy, and I love what they're bringing to Elevated Catering and what we can bring to them as well, and we're just kind of all working off each other and have a lot to offer Winston-Salem, I think, to make it better with the music scene, with the food, and then just experience. But I think the biggest thing is in Winston-Salem, how the small business community has rallied around us, and we've gotten so much help from so many people like Tim, like yourself, and it's been really refreshing.
Wow, I love that. I love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
For everyone listening, how did they get in touch with you? How did they discover your menus? How did they just connect?
Yeah, so we have a website that's live that will help navigate. We also have a tab in there that if you want to get in contact to us that way, it's www.elevatedcateringcompany.com. And then my number is 919-500-2547, and that's a direct line to myself. And yeah. And
you're on all the socials?
Yep,
Facebook,
all Instagram. Facebook, TikTok. Even.
No, you're on the TikTok.
Oh yeah, you got to do TikTok videos, of course. And then also my email is elevatedcateringco@gmail.com.
Perfect.
Yep.
Brian, thank you so much for being
Hold
here
on,
and sharing.
we're not done.
We're not?
No.
What do we have?
I have to say to you, Brian DePaulis.
Yes, sir, Mr. Tim.
I want to thank you for, I have two people in my life. One is my world and one is my everything. So my everything is my son. And I want to thank you for the care, the guidance, the mentorship, and just caring about my everything. And he's a wonderful young man. I like to think that I had a hand in a lot of that, but professionally and keeping him in check, you are the other side of that. And, you said you keep him as long as you can. I think he'll follow you to the end of the earth. I see that happening.
That's awesome.
But I just wanted to thank you for everything you do for him.
Awesome.
And with him, and the guidance and like I said, mentorship that you give him.
I appreciate that.
So I can't thank you enough for that. And, you and I are friends and we talk all the time. But And I know I've said that, but I wanted everyone to hear me say it to you, that I am proud of what he is because of your guidance.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And as they say, it takes a village, right?
Yes, it does. Yes,
I know it took a village to raise me and get me on the right path. So
Yeah.
It's my pleasure, man. It's just amazing to see that young kid grow and do what he's doing, man. And I know he's going to be one of the greats when it's all said and done, for sure.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Tim.
Absolutely. I'm sorry for cutting in, but
No. I believe that
appreciate
it shows so much about what Winston-Salem, Forsyth County is about. This
100%.
community, the small businesses, the love for what they do, the love for the people, and how we're wrapping ourselves around our young people to keep them here and to make them better, right?
yeah.
All young people aren't bad. Some are incredible.
It's called family business for a reason.
Yeah.
People become family.
And it's not necessarily blood family, but
That's
still
correct.
become family. I love it. Well, again, Brian, thank you so much for being here. For everyone listening, again, please go to elevatedcateringcompany.com to find out more about Elevated Catering. All of their socials are on there. You can find them. Just reach out because it's going to be good.
Oh, I can guarantee it. And I'm not saying that because I have someone on the inside. I have two someones on the inside. I'm just saying that because it's true.
It's true. 100%.
We appreciate it. We do.
Perfect. Well, everyone listening, until next time. We know you enjoyed this podcast today, so join us for the next episode of Greater Conversations. By the way, you can follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Be sure to smash that subscribe button. Also, be sure to visit our website at winstonsalem.com. The views and opinions stated in this podcast are solely those of the contributors and not necessarily those of our sponsors, distributors, or hosting companies. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced without expressed written consent of Greater Winston-Salem, Inc. or your toast.